Hello, everybody. I'm Nicholas William Yazzie, and my clan is Nadonsa Ganesh Topahan Slink Leonard Bush team. Welcome, everybody, and yeah.
All right, thank you, Nick. Thank you very much. It has been such a pleasure to be able to do Camp Eagle Summer School. Did I wear you all out? We had so many fun activities and everything. I just wanted to say thank you for bringing your children to Camp Eagle Summer School and everything. Today is our student showcase, so we're going to be really trying to focus on the work that the students did throughout the month of June. And we're very fortunate in being able to have such a great team that comes out to help with this event. But first off, I would like to have my team come up. Let's have Shoshana, Natalie, Ason, Anna, and Mr. Murray, can you come out? Monty, yes. And Tanya or Stephen to represent the parent committee. Tochanen Schletkoban Habashin, but Ane Dashadokia, Ane Dashnella, a quit out Sanchle. I'm a Nearwater woman, born for the Edgewater people. Maternal grandparents are from the Folded Arms clan, paternal are from the Towering House clan. I just want to say welcome. Go ahead and just introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Mr. Murray, and I'm the principal here at the school, and we are so, it was such an exciting thing to have the school come here this summer. I remember there was a day when there was a group that came through and did the classes, and I went in and I sat in with the elders and listened to them, and I was amazed at just their stories and how wonderful this is for the kids. So what a great thing for the kids, and how much these people work for them and help them. I'm so thankful that they're here at the school, and just thank you for being so supportive and bringing your kids out to such a great program.
Thank you. My name is Annalisa Allison, and I am a teacher here in the school district. This is my 9th year teaching, but I've been working with Title VI for about 7 years now. And every year I kind of flip-flop between literacy, PE, and health. But this year I got to work with Sarah and Gorgeous, and we ran the health and PE class. It kind of gave a holistic approach about talking about health. And I'm just super excited to see all of you here today.
And my name is Natalie Billy. I've worked with the program for about 17 years now. This year at Camp Eagle, I got to teach the literacy class with Isaac Sanchez. And we were able to read with most of the groups about halfway through a book called The Healer of the Water Monster by Brian Young. He's a Navajo author. And yeah, most of the kids really liked it. There were some that weren't so into it, but for a good portion of the time, most of the kids really enjoyed the book, and it was fun watching them in certain parts of the book laugh, and as we were listening to it on an audio book, but it was really great to hear the kids laughing and listening to the story.
Good morning, my name is Ason Bigay. But ethni national nast ejit khbahan bashichin hashkanet zohat dashiche do zilt ali dashinela. So I am born for the Folded Arms People clan, and my father is the Zuni Edgewater. My grandparents are the yucca fruit hanging on a string, and my paternal grandparents are near the Towering House. I got to work here for about a month, and I loved it so much. And it brought me back to when I used to be around their age, up in school in Tuba City boarding school. And I learned so much from there, and it felt so good to teach it back. So Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Shoshana Begay, and I am the one that taught your students about basket weaving and the math concepts that go along with that. And I am from Springville, Utah. I am Navajo. My clans are the Bitterwater and Salt clan. And I've been working here with Eileen for about 15 years since I graduated from high school. So a lot of these older high school students that are here were actually my students when they were in preschool. So they're just growing up so fast, and we're so grateful that you guys brought your kids to learn about their culture and to so that they know who they are. Thank you.
I'm Betty Tanner, and I've been with the program for about 24 years. I have taught preschool. So when Shoshana talked about those in the preschool, I'm the one that taught them all the way through. And so, and this year we just kind of focused on friendships and phonemic awareness and counting and alphabet knowledge.
Hello, I'm Stephen Adams. I'm from Alaska. I'm actually Tlingit. Our tribe is in Southeast Alaska. My Tlingit name is Shtugue, which means a place to go for peace. My kids have thoroughly enjoyed this. I just want to thank everyone. I represent the parent committee. Everyone on the parent committee, all of you parents who are bringing your kids here, I'd love to touch on what Shoshana mentioned. It's important for them to know who they are and where they come from. And it doesn't start and end here with this program. A lot of what you teach them and talk with them about at home is a huge part of that. Relying on one program to do all of that work is just too much to ask of them, even though they do a fantastic job already. So I just encourage all of you to keep those conversations going. Whatever they learn during Culture Camp or during the Title VI program, be engaged with them and want to learn more about it with them. That can really help. So thank you all for your support.
I'm Julie Cruz. I feel like it's kind of come full circle. I've been with the program for 13 years. I started with Camp Eagle, with Natalie saying, hey, we have this fun summer camp, bring your kids. And I started not knowing anything at all. I didn't know what regalia was. I didn't know what they were dancing. I just knew they were dancing and I had to make it. So by saying it's come full circle, I this year helped to teach and help and assist the parents making the regalia for their kids. So when you look at all of these amazing outfits that the kids are wearing, that is because of dedicated parents who came and, like me, probably knew nothing, and then now look at their kids, they look amazing. So thanks for coming and thanks for your support.
Dos, my name is Gorgeous Lee. I'm from Riverton, Wyoming, but I live here in Springville. I am Northern Arapaho, Northern Cheyenne, and Diné. I am the women's fancy teacher in the mornings, and then I help with PE and health. I teach with Anna, and I had a great time teaching your kids. I hope the knowledge that I was passed on to me, I hope to pass on to them, and they keep with them. Your kids are great, and I'm very grateful. Oh, thank you.
Dos, my name is Koala Lee, or you can call me Koa. Either one works fine just for me. I was the jingle dress teacher in the mornings, and then I helped volunteer with Shoshana to help make pine needle baskets. That project was so fun, but it was also a lot of work. Working with these kids and working with your kids. They're so sweet and special, even though sometimes they can be a little much at times, but they're all such sweet kids, and I just love them so much. Thank you.
My name's Alfredo Quintana, and I taught the men's fancy dance to the boys, and I taught the drumming too. And I was also the 2022 Dream Starter. So throughout the school year, we had a poster project of Becoming Visible poster project with the students and stuff too. So I was able to have the students be able to post their pictures at their schools so they could be able to have an accurate information about themselves and have people learn more about them and stuff too. So thank you. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Isaac Sanchez. I help teach grass in the mornings, and I also helped out with Natalie in her classroom. It was very nice to see all the kids learn about their Navajo roots through the books that we were reading. and it was a really good experience to see all of them learning from it. Thank you.
You know, this program is very, very community-based. When we first started, we wanted to keep it the old traditional way, where we're including the whole family. So one of the greatest joys in life is watching your children and watching them learn, and watching them learn from having their identity supported and their identity strengthened so that they can become powerful human beings and everything. I'd like to start out with the grass dance and the jingle dance, which will be followed by the fancy bustle and the fancy shawl dance. And I want to say that, you know, one of the things that I really enjoyed watching is seeing young leaders take initiative to do and share their talents and everything. One of the things I really enjoyed was watching the boys learning how to drum and sing and how to sit around a drum, learning about the different songs that are used to dance to. So here are the jingle dancers and the grass dancers.
Hello? Okay, so women's jingle dress. The story I was told was there was a young girl who was really sick, and her grandpa was praying and asking the ancestor to help heal his daughter. And she was close to death, and he went through many sweat lodges, he went through many ceremonies, and he had a dream. And in that dream, he saw 4 dresses. And on these dresses, they had these cones. Traditionally, they had 365 cones to represent 365 days in the year. So when these girls dance, they're bringing healing. They represent the sound of rain. And then men's grass. I was told that back then, when in the prairie, when they'd have the grass would flow and it was tall, and when they'd want to have their ceremonies or when they'd want to dance and have celebrations, they'd send these grass dancers out to go stomp on the grass and put the grass down before everybody else, or they'll send them out there to go stomp the grass down before they set up camp. Okay, so the story I was told about the Women's Fancy was there's two traditional dancers. Women's Fancy is one of the newest styles. So there were two traditional dancers, and they were just dancing song after song after song, and they couldn't pick who was the winner between the two. So they decided to give them a faster song. And the women's traditional dancers dance with a shawl on their arm. So what they did was they took that shawl off their arm and they wrapped it around their back, and they started dancing with that shawl, and they were able to pick a winner from then. And I was also told that Women's Fancy it's a butterfly dance. It represents new beginnings, and that's why butterflies come out in spring, and that's when everything blooms and everything comes back. So that's just what I was told.
Turned up, and I want to see all my preschool, kindergarten, first graders, and second graders up on stage. We're going to share our puppy song. One of the things that we enjoy every summer is trying to teach our young ones how to speak tribal language. And a way of teaching, an easy way of teaching this is learning through songs. So this song talks about a little puppy. And I know, Margaret, can you explain about the puppy and the song and what the words mean? Because they won't be able to understand because you're singing all in Navajo, aren't you?
So this puppy is little, so it'll follow me wherever I will go, wherever I will go. The puppy is this small, but its legs is this tiny, but the one thing it doesn't know is that it doesn't know when to stop. Hop, hop. The belly keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it drags on the belly on the ground. Thank you.
So you'll see the kids showing with their hand motions that the puppy eats and its belly gets big, so big that it drags on the ground. It's got a waggy ears and a waggy tail. I love that. Doesn't that just make your heart smile? Let's have Shoshana come up. And what we'll do is we're going to showcase with you and talk about all the projects in the class activity that took place over the month. I know that you parents, a lot of times are in here making the student outfits, and you don't get a chance to see what's going on in the classroom. So I'm going to have each teacher talk about their projects.
All right. Oh my goodness. I love the puppy dog song. Guess what, students? When I was probably around your age, I learned that same song. And I was up on stage, and I was singing it for my family and my friends. And then I've been teaching that song also to future students. So I love the puppy dog song. It's so close to my heart. So about 25 years ago, in the Title VI program, Eileen brought a workshop, and it was on basket making. And it was taught by a woman named Peggy Black. And what she did is she took us out to around Draper City, and she had us pick the sumac from the bushes. And she taught us the steps on how to make a Navajo basket. She took the sumac and she split it into 4 sections. And then she took those 4 sections and split them into another 4th. So she had strips, about 20 strips of sumac from just one branch. So this is the basket that I made when I was about 12 years old. My age is wrong, but around 12 years old, I made this basket out of sumac. I dyed the reeds on this, and I tried so hard. We use the word hajo in our classroom, the Navajo philosophy, meaning having balance, having peace, having harmony, having positive thoughts. When I made this basket, I had to have hajo, because if I didn't have hajo, this basket wouldn't have turned out for me at all. And so I showed the students this basket, and I told them that it took a lot of work, and I hope in the future we can make Navajo baskets out of real sumac. That is my goal this year, is to make that happen with your students. So After that, I told them the story of how I made this basket. And I also talked about the math concepts that were used in making a basket. When you make all Native American crafts, you have to have some type of math knowledge. We like to say that many Native Americans, our ancestors long ago, they didn't really know math concepts, but they really did know. They honestly knew. To make this basket, you have to have geometric shapes. You have to have symmetry. You have to know how to add, subtract. You would have to know how to multiply, divide. You would need to know the circumference, the diameter, the depth of your basket. Students went on and on with these math concepts. We made a list on the board. Oh, someone even said fractions. Like I said, you have to split the reeds into fractions to make this happen. And so, we talked about the different shapes of baskets. So we talked about circle baskets, cylinder baskets, different types like that. So after I told them, we talked about math concepts, we talked about my story of making my basket that I'm so proud that I got to use. So this basket was used on some special occasions. When my daughters, Nina and Deja, they had their first laugh in Navajo culture, we do a big party for them and we celebrate them because they did their first laugh. They're coming into the world. I got to use this basket with my daughters. We put the salt inside of here. With their little hands, they were able to give salt to each of their friends and their family members. I still use this basket today. And I used it. My daughter also, I have her, when we go do a performance, I have her dance with this basket. Okay, I have two special guests that I want to introduce to you. This is Asan Begay and Koa. Asan, I'm so glad I got to have her in my class. She is knowledgeable on the Navajo symbolism of the basket. She also used the basket in her life, and I'm gonna have her explain it.
When I was growing up, I was raised by my grandparents because my mom and my dad were off getting their education. And so in that meantime, my grandma, we always had a Navajo basket sitting up on the entertainment center. And I would always come in, and sometimes it would be gone, and it would just be around the house, or when we were about to cook, we were about to make fry bread or tortillas, my grandma would be there using this as a measuring cup. Or when we would make cake, Navajo cake, we would also use this to sort out the cornmeal, and we would put all our dried corn husks on here. But there was one time when I asked my mom how much this meant to her and who it belonged to, and my grandma had told me the basket that we had was my mother's, and it was supposed to represent the womb of the mother. And as the baby gets older, it can be used for a baby's first laugh. And when girls turn into a woman, they use that during their ceremonies. And I was lucky enough to have and use that basket that my mom had. And there I was taught that with the cornmeal inside, you say your prayers and you sprinkle the cake and you pray in the morning, and you use this as well. And it's also mainly used for wedding ceremonies. But this brings protection, this brings safety, this brings joy, this brings balance, this brings pure harmony and pure love in the home. And I asked my grandfather what this meant. And his version was the beige part of the basket are just the holy beings. And also the outer tops represent the stars, the constellations, the clouds, the rain. And then the red part represents the rainbow. And that also brings happiness and protection. And the black part represents the mountains. But on my take on it, when I look at it, I see that it is my life. And I want it to be my life to be just as beautiful as this. Because when I look at it, I think about all of the beige part. I think about that's the people that I want in my life. That's the people who will support me, who will teach me, and who will love me unconditionally and with perfect love. And I want to be able to be surrounded with the people that will protect me and that I will do the same. And the black part is mountains. Could be kind of symbolic to how difficult the trials, the temptations, or the struggles that we face in our daily lives, but that we can overcome them. And it tells your story, it tells about your life and who you are. And I'm grateful that my grandparents raised me and they taught me this about the Navajo basket. So I was so happy to share that with you today.
So we had a big discussion. Ason did an amazing job explaining the symbolism to the students. Next, we talked about the different types of baskets. All Native American tribes have different types of baskets that they have, different styles and what they use them for. So that's when it came to Koa. Koa taught us how to do pine needle baskets. And what's so cool about the pine needle baskets is this is from the North and South Dakota tribes, but from what I've been learning is this type of style was used throughout the whole United States. So I'm gonna have Koa talk about the process of the pine needle basket and her experience with the kids, and then we wanna invite Margaret and Asher to kind of talk about their baskets.
Hello. So the baskets that I was taught, I was actually taught by my boyfriend Keegan. He sometimes acts more native than me, which is fine, I guess, it's all right. But he taught me how to make them, and he taught me how to make them in one night. These baskets are really simple, they're really easy, unless you want to add different types of patterns and all types of stuff. But with the class I did, we made simple ones like Margaret made here. Margaret did such a good job, so did Asher and all these other kids that I got to work with. They're so cute, and I just loved working with them. The process of making pine needle baskets is that you need to pick the pine needles. I was told that you need to use brown pine needles just because when they're green and they start to grow old, they start to brown, they kind of shrink, and that can make your basket loose. But we used green pine needles because it was a lot easier for the kids because they were very bendable, very easy, versus using brown pine needles. It's a little bit harder because you do have to use warm water. It's preferred to use warm water so that the needles can bend nicely into this nice basket shape that you can get from it. So there's many ways you can prep your pine needles. Prepping your pine needles, there's this end right here that you kind of can scrape off, or you can leave it there. It's all up to you and how you want to make your basket. Preferably you want to use the long ones. The short ones are not that great just because they kind of tend to fall apart, and it's really hard to keep your basket together. But yeah, and for sinew is what you help wrap your basket to keep it together. Sinew is traditionally made out of the tendons of animals, so usually it's made usually get it from their legs and their back. For us, our tendons are all over the place, but that's where we usually get it, and I hear it tastes like beef jerky. So if anybody got some sinew, don't put the plastic sinew in your mouth because that's just dental floss. That's what I hear. but that's just what it is. Working with the little kids was very fun, especially getting to know them too individually and seeing how they work, because I know a lot of kids are very different with their learning processes, but it was such a great time. Here's Margaret.
Yate, my name is Margaret. I made the pine needle basket. This is my basket. My ancestors will use it for gathering together and picking vegetables. In my great grandma's garden, I'll be doing the same thing, picking vegetables and fruits in her garden. Then this was very fun for me and I liked it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Asher and my tribe is Shoshone and Navajo. And my basket weaving experience was great and I had a good time doing it. And it was challenging from starting and ending too.
That was Asher, everybody.
Aww. So, what's cool about these projects is some students, they just gravitate towards it. Like, I've had students tell me, I want to make baskets forever. And Asher is that person. Like, he wants to continue making that. And then also Margaret is that person. And I can name a whole other bunch of students. And also I wanted to show you Haley LeBlanc's. Look how detailed that one is. She actually made the Navajo basket. And then I also have Maddie Fuentes. She also did the Navajo basket. And then I have one more, which is Shondine Yeslith. She is also almost done with her Navajo basket. So what the goal was is I hope that you students are able to pass this down to the next generation, teach somebody else how to do this. And then hopefully in the future, we can bring in a master basket maker so that you guys can start from the sumac plant. And then I also wanted to showcase the little ones, the first and second graders. They made beautiful yarn baskets that look like this. So thank you guys. I love teaching you guys. Thank you students for making beautiful baskets, and I hope that you're able to teach somebody else. Thank you.
So I'm currently going to college I'm going for my bachelor's in food science and food service operations and restaurant management with a minor in botany. Growing up, I was taught to never really use Western medicines. I don't even take ibuprofen that often unless I'm in serious pain. So I wanted to teach what I was taught and share the medicines I learned in school, and I hope to, after I finish with my schooling, to combine our traditional medicines with modern technologies. So what I taught the students was about foraging, about food they can find around them. Sometimes when they go camping, there's food everywhere. You're surrounded by food. They don't teach this about in school. They don't teach it at all. I didn't learn about it until I did my own research. I had to do my own research to learn about it. And I think it's something that should be taught to our students every day in their curriculum. So I remember as a young kid going sage picking. I'd go pick sage every year, and every year we'd keep that sage. We'd get big bundles of sage. I was fortunate enough to help teach the students about picking sage, telling them what it looks like, how to pick it, and what thoughts and feelings you need to have when you pick sage. And I was just really grateful, and I hope that my teachings stays with them. And it's almost like they teach me more than I teach them almost. They make my day every day. So parents, I want to thank you for bringing your kids to our camp.
Hello, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Sarah Powell. This year, what I did as how I helped was that I first invited the kids to come over to my garden and help plant. The parents were invited too if they wanted to stay, and some parents did stay, which was great because there were a lot of kids. It was actually quite nice to see all the kids help each other plant and see them learn something new in my garden. It was also nice to get a head start with planting, and it was just really fun. I loved going to the PE classroom and playing with them, and they were all just really amazing. And that's all I have to say.
Yeah, let's give Sarah a round of applause. Sarah, with Eileen, our program manager, she actually wrote a grant, and it's a national organization called Running Strong, and she wrote the grant, and she was one in 10 individuals that was awarded the grant. So she brought $20,000 into our program in order for us to talk about Indigenous teachings, field trips. So let's give Sarah and Gorgeous a round of applause. And during that first week, we also had a teacher from Salem Hills come into our classroom, and she runs the greenhouse over at Salem Hills, and she came in and she brought all different kinds of seeds, and she brought in worksheets, and she had all these different activities that were differentiating for the different ages. And what we learned is that there's actually math that goes into gardening as well. So the students had to calculate how far apart they would have to plant plants in order for them to survive. Then we had Sacred Circle come in, and they taught the students about emotions, stress management techniques, suicide prevention, and then they invited all the students to attend the prayer run. Gorgeous also, and our parent committee president, Tanya, they also the day before talked about emotions and some stress management techniques. So when Sacred Circles came in, the kids were able to apply what they had learned with them. Also, Sacred Circles, just like most of you are aware, Shoshana and I, and there are some other people in the audience as well, grew up in this program, and we attended this program as young children as well. And at Sacred Circles, Cesadio, Eileen's son, and April Yazzie, who is an alumni of the Title VI program, they came in, and you probably saw this, they gave every child a journal and a pen that day with a bunch of stickers, and the kids were able to do some journaling. And for the younger kids who probably can't write their feelings, they were able to draw out their pictures and share with their peers how they were feeling. And we were able to do some stress management techniques that day. And that day we also did Indigenous meditation. And Cesadio, he came in and he had these journal prompts for the kids. But these journal prompts were Indigenous. They could relate to these journal prompts culturally. So that was really awesome. They also provided lunch that day. So there are many successful Title VI alumni out there in the community. So that just shows you that one day all of these little students who are sitting here today are going to be just as successful, and they're going to come back and incorporate different things into our program. So the prayer run, we invited all the students to the prayer run. Cesadio and Alfredo were the ones that kind of headed up that prayer run. And the reason for the prayer run was to bring awareness to the rock art that's on West Mountain that a lot of people are vandalizing. Some don't know that there's rock art there, and they're not aware that they are vandalizing a sacred spot. However, there are some people who are aware and they still continue to do their shooting practice up there. So we had students and community members join us for a prayer run. So we started up by the golf course, and then it ended over by the West Mountain. And these guys ran 15 miles together. So there were some students who ran the entire length. There were other students that rode their bikes. There were others that rode their scooters. There were others that kind of just jogged just short distance. But it was really amazing to see the turnout. I did interview 2 students who participated in the prayer run, and I asked them for permission to kind of quote them on their experience. So we had one student who was 10 years old, and she participated in the prayer run with her family. She thought it was nice to get out in nature, get out of the house, and to be able to see the surrounding beautiful plants and flowers. And she was happy that she was able to do the prayer run because along the way, she got to see something new. Another student who was around the same age of 10 years old, she told me that she was excited to be in the prayer run because she had already done the prayer run before, and she was able to see great things and beautiful things. So it was a really amazing event, and I was glad that our students were able to attend. Just the feeling of watching these individuals physically stretch their limits, but then you could tell that they were spiritually connected to their environment, which we had been talking about in week 1. Week 3, we focused on Indigenous foods and sports. We had a lot of fun playing basketball. A lot of the boys loved playing basketball, and we made blue corn pancakes. And then in week 4, we talked about germs and how germs can be spread from person to person. And we also did an interactive activity where we used the glow germ, where you can actually see the germs on your hands, and then you can go wash it off and then check to see how your hand washing is going. So that was really, really fun. And then each day we were able to exercise for about 30 minutes. The younger students would go to the playground, they would play red light, green light, and then some team building games. All of the students were able to participate in sharks and minnows, capture the flag, shinny, basketball, 4 corners, bears, salmon, mosquito, hula hoop, and jump rope. But each day we collectively, as the PE and health teachers, were trying to incorporate healthy snacks. So we were trying to think of snacks that were grown in the garden, didn't have a lot of sugar or processed foods. So these students were amazing, and they were open to trying all of these different indigenous snacks. So we had cantaloupe, we had watermelon, we had popcorn. One day we had carrots. Like we had carrots and watermelon, and I was thinking, I don't know if the younger kids are going to eat the carrots, but they did eat it. So I was extremely grateful that your students were willing to try new healthy snacks with us. So
our class was literacy, and for first and second grade, we were able to read. We were able to read some Native stories to the kids. This is just a couple of them. I have other displays over on the table that you can come and look at if you want to. But we were able to read Native stories each day. And then for them, we concentrated on the alphabet book. So we made up a book with alphabets and the letters coordinated with things that we were doing here in Camp Eagle. So like for B, it was basket. And so they have a whole book that I have over there for them. You guys can come pick up the kids' books that they did. Some of them I believe are finished, but others are not finished, so they can finish those at home. For 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th through 8th grade, we were able to do the Healer of the Water Monster book. And 3rd and 4th, 5th and 6th, we listened to it, and they followed along in the book. And then for 7th through 12th, they read it on their own. But I just want to share with you a couple of these. At the end, some of my students, I did have a few students that finished the book. The rest of us are about halfway through. But at the end, our last class day, we did these little papers of a book review for what they've read so far. And so I just like this because they had to name characters, and they had to write down 3 new words that they learned. And then they had to write their favorite part. And for this one, their favorite part was when the horned toad called him fat. And how did they feel about the book? Was happy. And for this one, their favorite part was when the spider said, "Outhouse, outhouse." And they felt happiness about the book. The kids were a little leery at first when we started reading it, but after they got into a chapter or two, they were really, a lot of them were really into it. And like when my computer would go to sleep and it would stop playing the sound, they'd be like, "Oh!" And so I'd have to hurry and run over and restart it so that it would continue to play. But they were like, it always happened during something was just going to happen, so they were they were anxious to see what was going to happen. It was such an awesome experience to teach the kids and to have them get excited about the book. Yeah, I think that's all. Do you have anything to add?
I want to especially thank Mr. Murray for allowing us to use this beautiful facility in holding our summer school. And I want to thank Monty, everyone. I want you, let me have both of you, the principal and Monty, stand up. We want to give you this. And Spanish Fork 17, I appreciate you doing this and filming us and amplifying Native voices. Thank you. And I'm going to invite all of my students to come up here. We're going to have a last song. Even though you don't have outfits on, I want you to dance to this song that they're going to do. So we'll leave this as the closing song, and then that will end our program today. Thank you.